Julien, Bani, great to have you guys up on stage. So, as most of you probably know, Julien is the CEO of African Hotel Development. It's an integrated hospitality platform that he's built over the last 15 or so years, which currently has 30 hotels either operating or in the pipeline across 15 countries in Africa. And I think probably one of the most successful, if not the most successful, homegrown African hotel story. And then Bani, of course, is the CEO of Aleph Hospitality, CEO and founder of Aleph Hospitality, which has been going 10 years last September, and has over 50 hotels under its operations across Middle East and Africa, more than 7,000 rooms, which makes them the largest independent operator in the region, which is really great. So a pleasure to have you guys on stage. And it's been slightly over a year, and I know that the last one of these we had the signing and the announcement of the partnership between the two of you guys, AHD and Aleph, which handed Aleph the responsibility of, I think, 26 hotels in 14 countries under the ONOMO brand to management, which is a lot of trust. It's a big deal. But let's delve a little bit into the stories quickly. I'm going to start with Julien. Julien, tell us about the AHD ONOMO journey today.
Yeah, look, well, first of all, thank you very much, Mark, for the intro. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. So, yeah, it has been an exciting journey, almost 15 years, as you rightly said. So it started in Dakar. So we basically, at the time, the vision was to create the leading mid-scale hospitality chain in West Africa. So it went. So we started there, and after 5 years, we had 5 hotels basically that we built, own and operate under the ONOMO brand. And the concept was great, so we just decided to expand. So we did a fundraise north of 100 million euros, and we wanted then to become the first hospitality chain to connect Africas, so north, west, east, and south. And so we kept doing what we did in West Africa. We reached in 2020 we were at 20 hotels. All operated under the ONOMO brand and all with the same model. So we had that asset EV model. So once again, we built, own, and operate under the ONOMO brand. Then COVID arrived, and post-COVID, basically, we used this opportunity basically to change our model and to create an asset-light strategy. And so we created under the ONOMO umbrella, which is an African DNA brand. So the mid-scale one, ONOMO Hotel, then ONOMO Allure, and ONOMO Collection, which are on the upscale segment. And here we are. So today we have 30 hotels, out of which 25 are open and 5 under construction.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. And I remember, going to this event in Lomé and visiting your property there back in the day. I mean, that must have been 10 years ago, I would have thought.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while now.
Yeah. And the asset-light, asset-heavy model. I mean, most successful chains inevitably end up going asset-light, and you guys were doing that. You were doing it well. And then along came Aleph. So talk to us about how that kind of came along.
Yeah. So basically we arrived at a stage, at a scale, I'm sure we'll come back to this later, but where we basically decided to split our core activity into 3. So that's the ownership. On one side, the brand, on the other side. So when it comes to the brand, there is a huge ambition, and we basically want to double the size in the next 4 years, and reach almost 50 hotels, just to simplify. And the third leg was operation, and that's where we did this partnership with Aleph, who is now in charge of basically all of our ONOMO hotels. So the idea was to combine, the strengths of the leading African brand with, the best operator in the region, and that was all about this.
Thank you.
Well, Bani, I mean, your model, it is still fairly new. I mean, you've been around 10 years. In Africa, this idea of having a third-party white label operator sit between the brand and the owner. Tell us a little bit about that journey of getting Aleph to where it is today.
So we started 10 years ago. Today we are the largest independent hotel operator in the Middle East and Africa. Our idea with Neil George, myself, when we started the company was really to bring something very different to the market. We did not want to reinvent the wheel. We just took what is done best around the world for hotel owners, for the investors, for the guys really with the money, the guys who are really putting the money on the table. And that was the model of the independent hotel operator, where we truly focus on the day-to-day operation, on the asset, with a very hands-on approach, focused on maximizing profits and EBITDA. So since then, obviously, 10 years ago, no one had heard about it. In our previous lives, we were franchising to individual owners, but there was no professional structure that could cover Africa and the Middle East, and that's why we set it up. And today, as you said, we're the largest, and we manage, obviously we're super proud to manage the ONOMO portfolio since September. But we also manage other brands, Marriott, Hilton, Best Western, Wyndham brands, etc. across the board. We manage also hotels without international brands. Again, we're the engine that makes the hotel function and operate on a day-to-day basis.
And I mean, yeah, you know, I have a lot of conversations with brands, and some of them interestingly say, actually, we're not that keen to operate. We want to franchise, but we don't necessarily trust this owner with one hotel.
It is.
You know, how do you work with the brands?
So listen, I always say it's a triple win situation. The owner wins because they're handing over their assets to a capable team who's present on their side on a day-to-day basis. The brands win because they're focusing on growing the brand, on growing their systems, distributions, loyalty, etc. And they don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day operation. And of course, our business wins. So we work very well with the brands, all of them. We don't do a better job, we just do it differently. It is a very difficult. I always give one simple example. For a general manager who works for a brand, any brand, it's very difficult for this general manager or the director of sales to pick up the phone, call their head office and say, hey, you're not giving me enough business. For us, it is the case. So the brand is super important for us because that's where the value of the business is. But at the same time, we have the capacity to push them to deliver what they promise us to deliver against the royalty fees that we're paying.
From a distribution perspective, yield management, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting. And then you guys obviously came together. From your perspective, Bani, I'll come to you in a sec. Julien, what was the strategic intent for you behind this? I mean, other than obviously growing a portfolio.
Listen, this, of course, number one was to grow the portfolio, but also the other major objective was to strengthen our operating platform across the continent. This transaction with AHG gave us the opportunity to open 4 offices across Africa. And this goes exactly and is in line with our philosophy of how we operate. You know, 3 years ago we opened an office. We're based in Dubai. 3 years ago we opened an office in Saudi Arabia because we said, you know, we cannot pretend to operate in Saudi Arabia while sitting in Dubai. About 3 years ago, we started operating in Morocco while being based in Dubai. It costed us so much money, time, etc. Super difficult. And if we continued to do this, for us, we would have fallen in the scheme of many other hotel operators who appointed GM and let it run. It's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is to be as close to the asset as possible, as close to our teams as possible. So this transaction really gave us the opportunity to immediately have a stronger platform on the African continent. So now we have an office in Casablanca, Cape Town. We're in the process of opening Nairobi and Abidjan with local teams to support our owners. And we've appointed regional vice presidents who are actually the CEOs of the business. So they run development, they run operations. It's the main point of contact for our business in that region.
And Julien, strategically for you, obviously a big change, growing the portfolio yourselves, buying hotels, building hotels like Kigali, and then moving into this strategic partnership. What was the thinking?
Look, you know, when you basically own, acquire, build, invest operate, building a brand with distribution, marketing, that's a lot. And this all the more so because we are present in multiple jurisdictions across 15 countries. And so that was a lot on our plate. So at some point, as we still wanted to grow, we felt that we had to revise our model, our structure, to simplify it, to make it more specialized, and to focus on where we were very strong at. And that's where the partnership with Aleph came. And so, we kept the asset management and the brand, for which once again we have a lot of ambition. And then, the day-to-day operation went in the hand of Aleph team. And so basically, it increased our capabilities, operation capabilities with them. So that was a crucial point. And it's a crucial point because, as a brand, you want to make sure that the level of service that you are offering is at the right level. It's a question. Growth is great. Signing management agreement and franchise agreement is great. But if you don't deliver, at the end of the day, you're not there. So having the right partner to support us in that growth was one of the key reasons. And the other reason is that it could free up some resources for us, just basically to focus more on the brand where the growth is for us now.
On growth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of half answered it a little bit, but any big specific headaches or challenges that this partnership cleared up for you, or Bani helped you guys clean up?
I thought you were going to ask and keep going. What did it bring as headaches?
Yeah, so several. But if I have to pick a few ones, I would say first the local presence. Managing from 1,000 kilometers away doesn't really work. So having that platform that is now present around in 20 countries, that's a big plus. It's good for an owner to know that someone is on the ground taking care of the hotel, taking care of the people. So I think that's one big plus. The other one is that as we scale, as a platform scaled, basically we could add additional capabilities. And so when you have 20, 30 hotels, it's difficult to have someone specialized in F&B, someone specialized in HR, someone in finance. Now we can do this not only on HQ at HQ level, but also on a regional basis, thanks to basically their support. So that's the second point, which is great. And the last one, the third one, is that we've created those two brands that I mentioned before, ONOMO and ONOMO Collection on the upscale segments. And for this, we can leverage all Aleph knowledge on the luxury and upscale segment, and basically increase the learning curve for us. So it's basically direct play, and thanks to this partnership. Yeah.
It's symbiotic in a lot of ways. Really great relationship. Mm-hmm. Regarding the transaction, or it's not really a merger, but it's a partnership, and it's a big deal for both of you guys. And I'll start with Bani this time. What challenges or learning experiences did you have during that process?
Well, let me tell you, the first thing is the process is not over yet. Digesting, for a company like us, at least for digesting a portfolio of 25 hotels, is in all transparency taking much longer than what we thought it would. One of the reasons, I think, is because this ONOMO portfolio was managed by one team, the asset managers, property, brand co, and it was the same team. So recalibrating the teams and responsibilities took much longer than anticipated. So in terms of lessons learned, probably we should have been a little bit more realistic on when to complete the full transition. I mean, Julien and his team in some cases are still involved in the day-to-day operation, or at least we refer to them in some of the subjects still. I would have loved that for this to have stopped a couple of months ago, but I think we're almost there now. So that's probably the biggest thing that we have.
But in a way, I mean, if you guys are really in a partnership, which you are, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't have to be black and white. Turn the lights off. You're still together in a partnership. So
Well, you still have, don't forget, you still have the owner-operator relationship. So we still have our monthly business reviews. We're still accountable for the budgets, etc. So you need to cut at one point, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And Julien, from your side,
Yeah,
was it just
I
smooth sailing, right?
I agree with
Easy.
Bani was just told you. It's it has been a separation on paper is one thing, on real life it's another. It was a challenge for both organizations. You have to revisit everything, governance, your organization, I mean everything. But I mean, I think we, 6 months or 7 months now, we made huge progress, and and the most important thing is that we work very well together with a lot of trust, and that's a chance. And so now we can build on this and deliver, what we want to deliver.
I can see you looking at it. I'm trying not to.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this is surely the most interesting panel of the weekend, or the week. Matt, just give us 2 more seconds as we wrap up, because I've actually got a bunch more questions. But just quickly, and I'll start with you, Bani. What next for Aleph in a few seconds?
Okay, a few things. Thank you for this question. But a few things. First of all, we have an overarching objective of operating around 100 hotels by end of 2029 with the current events. Might be early 2030, but that's our goal. So we're actually expanding beyond our natural region, the Middle East and Africa, where we were born. We were actually born in Africa, but we're expanded to the Middle East, and now we're going beyond. Next frontiers for us are going to be India and Europe. So we've actively started.
Very cool.
You're looking at these markets now.
And the other way.
Yeah.
Julien, what's next for ONOMO, the coolest brand in Bani's portfolio?
Yeah. You confirm?
Of course.
So yeah, look, it's an African DNA brand that we want to expand very quickly. So we are not going to reach, or maybe we will, but our target is 50 in the next 4 years. So a lot of ambition, and we think that we have a very distinctive brand to be developed in Africa and maybe beyond. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Well, and thanks,
Thank you.
gents, for a real case study of a deal that actually happened and is homegrown here in Africa. It's really rare that we see these things happen. Like you said, there's a lot of talk, but there's often not a lot of deals. I don't know if we still have time for a question or two. No questions taken ahead. She's the real boss. Matt, we know she's the real boss. So thank you very much, gents. And
Thank you.
We're around.
A round of applause.